I'm Andy. I'm a no-budget filmmaker, and today I want to talk about Trainspotting. No, not that one. This one. Trainspotting is a hobby in which train enthusiasts log, photograph and experience various forms of railway transport. It's enjoyed by people of all ages around the world. Now, I'm not a train spotter, I'm not any form of vehicle enthusiast, but this niche pastime has caught my attention in recent years. Most specifically because one of my own brothers has become an avid train spotter. He's even had his photos published in railway magazines. In the last year or so, Trainspotting has been brought to those who would have never given it a second thought. This is all thanks to the TikTok and Instagram posts of Francis Bourgeois.
Yes! Thank you! Oh, hello!
So I want to explore this hobby and see if I can understand the joy it brings to so many. To do so, I'm going to interview some local train spotters. How and when did you become interested in trains?
It was about when I was 8. My granddad took us down to York Railway Museum, and then ever since then I've been interested in all the trains and stuff like that, because the steam trains had a bit more character to them as well, whereas the 802s, 803s, 801s don't.
Well, I'd say I used to go for walks around the area near the railway line, and I'd say then I used to sort of feel a bit of like a connection to the railway, because I used to enjoy watching them go past. But it wasn't until 4 years ago, in 2018, when I actually started going out and focusing my photography on the railways, and ever since then all my photography has really just been focused on different types of railways, of course the heritage stuff, and of course the general passenger stuff and the freight stuff.
What is it you find fascinating about trains?
I think it's just because they have a lot more character to them. Like, say the Flying Scotsman, for example, that has a lot more character to it as well. Like, say that broke the 100-mile-an-hour speed limit, and the Mallard as well, that broke the 125-mile-an-hour speed limit. And but I don't think these ones now in our time have much character to them. But the 91s and the HSTs, they do. So sorry about that. So yeah, the numbers were a lot more easier to find as well.
But what I find fascinating about the railways is the history behind it, and there's a lot of British history I find, which stems all the way back to the early 1800s. Of course, believed to be the first locomotive was the Penny Darren, and I believe around 1804. 10 years after that there was Puff and Billy, which is believed to be the world's oldest surviving locomotive. 11 years after that, you had in 1825 you had locomotion number 1, which around these parts in the northeast is quite a famous one, since it ran between Darlington to Stockton, and that was the first passenger railway. And over the decades after that, what fascinates me is the development of railways, how steam locomotives got bigger and more powerful, and even in the centuries after that you see how they've developed over time, how they went from steam locomotives to diesel to electric and bi-mode, which runs on both diesel and electric. So I'd say the fascination which I find in railways is the history and the development over the centuries.
Do you have a favourite train or locomotive, and why?
My favourite train and locomotive would have to be the Flying Scotsman, obviously, because it's not just me who's been who has been into the Flying Scotsman. It's been the whole entire family have been into it, and I was actually on the Flying Scotsman tour on 2019, just before the pandemic as well. So that was on the 21st of December 2019. I paid for the tickets because I really wanted to go on to it. And ever since then, that's been my favourite.
My favourite locomotive, I'd say, is the Class 37. And with that, I just like how it looks and I like how it sounds when it's in action. As for my favourite train, I'd say the HST, the Class 43, also known as. And with that, I'd say probably the Midland Pullman livery. I think it looks really nice.
Do you have a favourite station or location to do your train spotting from?
Not really, to be honest, but I mean the East Coast Main Line's mainly for London North Eastern Railway, but like it's also for Trainspotting. But like, whereas it as like on the West Coast, like you get Avanti, TPE, and the cross country, and also Avanti. You hardly see any other versions because like Richard Branson has got sold them apparently, and like I probably prefer Doncaster because like there's like more tracks, more freight, and more variety.
I'd say my favourite station is York Station. I like the feel of it. It's a very Victorian station, and I think you can get some really good photos of like the arches and the train coming round. And it's a good place in general. I like the city. It has good facilities in there. And as for location where I like to go, usually it's like around these parts. I like to go to Tees Yard, just behind here. A bit further down the line, in around Newport Bridge, I'd say there's some few nice spots. And down South Bank as well, I quite enjoy it around there. You get some good industrial shots there.
What would you say to someone considering becoming a train spotter?
What I would consider saying is like, you're most likely to get 803s, 802s and 801s on the East Coast Main Line. So I'd mainly suggest either go over to the West Coast Main Line because like, there's a lot more variety of trains over there as well.
What I'd say is just get out there, explore the different regions. Now, if you live along like the East Coast Main Line, like how I do, get yourself to the different stations like York, Doncaster, Darlington, Newcastle. Get yourself to those stations, and as I said, get yourself to the different regions like the Great Western region, West Coast, even to Scotland, somewhere where I've been recently. That's really good. So I'd say just get yourself out there. There's so much to see and so much to learn.
For the last leg of my journey, I've decided to come to Grosmont to do some train spotting of my own.
Grosmont is one of the best heritage lines in the north. It has a good variety of steam and diesel locomotives, as well as some great sights along the line of the North Yorkshire Moors.
When he'd been out in the silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand well clear of the platform edge as the trains approach the station. Thank you.
What have I learnt on my journey? Train spotting is typically seen as a male hobby, but what I witnessed at Grosmont showed me that this isn't the case. It's a hobby that's open to anyone and everyone. I've also learnt that train spotting isn't just about the trains and the locomotives, it's about the history and the heritage that comes with them. It's about keeping the past alive whilst also looking towards the future. The railway has been around a long time, and I suspect it'll be here for many more years to come.